The night could have ended in sirens, flashing red and blue lights washing over shattered glass and ruined reputations. Instead, it ended with a single father standing in the rain, holding his unconscious boss upright while the city pretended not to notice. If you believe that kindness and second chances still matter in this world, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, Touch of Kindness. Stories like this remind us that even the smallest act of courage can change a life forever. It had been a long Tuesday for Arman Qureshi. The kind of day that starts before sunrise and refuses to loosen its grip. He had woken up at 5 in the morning to make breakfast for his 7-year-old daughter, Meher. He braided her hair the way he had learned from watching online tutorials late at night, fumbling at first but getting better with every school day. He packed her lunch with careful precision, adding a small handwritten note inside the box that read, "You are braver than you think." He never signed his name. She knew. By 8, he was on the bus to work, staring out the window at the city stretching awake under pale daylight. Construction cranes cut through the sky. Street vendors laid out fruit in bright pyramids. People hurried with coffee cups and tired eyes. Arman adjusted the collar of his only formal shirt, hoping the faint crease near the pocket wouldn't be noticed. He worked as an operations assistant at a marketing firm called Horizon Bridge, a fast-growing company known for aggressive deadlines and even more aggressive leadership. At the center of that reputation stood his boss, Samaira Khanna. She was sharp, commanding, and notoriously unforgiving. She had built the company from a 2-person startup into a powerhouse within 5 years. People admired her drive but feared her temper. Arman had felt the sting of her criticism more than once. He couldn't afford to lose this job. Not with rent overdue twice in the past year. Not with Meher's school fees increasing. Not with the quiet stack of hospital bills still lingering from the year his wife, Sana, had fallen sick and never returned home. Grief had hollowed him out, but fatherhood had forced him to stand again. That Tuesday afternoon, the office buzzed with tension. A major client presentation had fallen apart after a technical failure. Samaira had taken the hit publicly, her voice steady but her eyes betraying strain. By 6 in the evening, most of the staff had slipped away, eager to escape the aftershock. Arman stayed back to organize files and draft recovery emails. He always stayed back. At around 8, as he stepped outside into the fading light, he noticed Samaira near the parking lot. She was standing beside her car, swaying slightly. Her heels were in her hand. A half-empty bottle lay on the passenger seat. The sight startled him. He had never seen her like this. The iron-willed leader reduced to someone who looked small against the vast stretch of asphalt and streetlights. She tried to open the car door but fumbled. Her keys clattered to the ground. When she bent to pick them up, she nearly collapsed. Arman didn't think. He rushed forward and caught her just before her head hit the door. The sharp scent of alcohol confirmed what his eyes had already guessed. She looked up at him with unfocused eyes, murmuring something incoherent. Around them, a few late employees slowed their steps, curiosity flickering before indifference settled in. He knew what this could become. A scandal. A viral video. A whispered rumor that would spread through the office by morning. A police case if she attempted to drive. He helped her into the back seat of her car instead of the driver's side. He searched her bag for her phone and found an emergency contact labeled Aunt Ritu. No answer. He checked her ID for an address. It was across town. For a moment, he hesitated. He had Meher waiting at home with the neighbor. Every minute mattered. But leaving her there, vulnerable, felt wrong. He locked the office gate behind them, hailed a cab, and gave the driver her address. He supported her weight all the way, ignoring the driver's questioning glances. The ride felt endless under the city's bright streetlights. Day had fully surrendered, but the memory of sunlight still clung to the skyline. Samaira drifted in and out of awareness. Once, she whispered, don't let them see me like this." The words were raw, stripped of authority. At her apartment building, Arman paid the driver with half the cash he had saved for groceries. He managed to get her upstairs with the help of a security guard. Inside her apartment, sunlight from a late evening glow filtered through tall windows, casting long golden lines across polished floors. Awards lined the shelves. Framed magazine covers displayed her success. Yet the apartment felt eerily silent. He settled her on the couch, placed a glass of water nearby, and left a note on the coffee table, "You're home. Rest." Arman. He didn't linger. He didn't take a photo. He didn't call anyone. He simply left. The next morning was painfully ordinary. The sun rose bright and unapologetic. Arman dropped Meher at school and hurried to work, anxiety crawling beneath his calm exterior. He wondered if she would remember. He wondered if she would be embarrassed. He wondered if he had crossed a line. At 10 sharp, an email summoned him to Samaira's office. The walk felt longer than usual. Daylight streamed through the office windows, illuminating every dust particle in the air. Coworkers glanced at him with curiosity. His palms were damp. He knocked and entered. Samaira sat behind her desk, composed, dressed impeccably in a crisp ivory suit. Her expression was unreadable. Sunlight framed her silhouette, almost blinding in its intensity. For a heartbeat, neither spoke. Then she stood. She walked around the desk, stopping a few feet away. Her voice, when it came, was steady but softer than he had ever heard it. She remembered everything. She thanked him. Not curtly. Not out of obligation. She thanked him with a sincerity that seemed to cost her pride. She told him he could have exploited the situation, could have humiliated her, could have ignored her. He hadn't. Arman nodded awkwardly, insisting it was nothing. He expected the conversation to end there. Instead, she asked about his daughter. The question caught him off guard. He answered carefully. He spoke of Meher's love for drawing, of her fear of thunderstorms, of how she still set aside a seat at dinner as if her mother might walk in. Samaira listened. Over the next few days, something shifted in the office. She no longer barked orders from across the room. She began acknowledging effort. She approved flexible hours for Arman so he could attend school events. When a promotion opportunity arose for team coordinator, she called him in and told him he had earned it long before that night. But the true change came one bright afternoon 2 weeks later. Arman received a call from Meher's school. There had been a minor accident on the playground. She was fine, but shaken. His heart raced as he rushed out, forgetting protocol. In the hallway, he nearly collided with Samaira. Without hesitation, she told him to go. She said she would handle the client meeting herself. Later that evening, as sunlight bathed the school courtyard in warm hues, Arman watched Meher sitting on a bench, a small bandage on her knee. Samaira approached quietly, carrying a box of art supplies. She had come straight from work. She crouched down and told Meher that brave girls sometimes fall, but they always rise stronger. Meher smiled shyly. Arman saw then that kindness had traveled in a circle. What began as a simple act in a parking lot had unfolded into something larger. Months passed. Horizon Bridge launched a community outreach program providing scholarships to children of single parents. The idea had been Samaira's. She never publicly mentioned what had inspired it. On a bright Sunday afternoon, the company hosted a charity event in the park. The sun was high, children laughing, balloons drifting in the breeze. Arman stood beside Meher as she displayed her artwork in a small booth sponsored by the firm.